Hello, everyone. Happy 2021. We made it, barely by the skin of our teeth, but we made it. So congratulations, everyone. Big pat on the back. I wanted to start out the first Training Tuesday of the year talking about what is my number one tip in order to make change in the new year. Any new year it's applicable to. But it's always nice because this is the time of year, right, where people are getting set on all these goals and all the things that they want to accomplish in the new year. And as is probably familiar to a lot of you, a very common trend we see is people starting out hot on those goals and then they take a little bit of a nosedive in the next couple of weeks. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure that whatever your goal is, you feel like you're able to actually make it happen this year. And so I wanted to share with you today, my friends, my number one tip when it comes to making change. And if you're ready for it, it's very simple. So the tip is, if you want to get a different result, do a different action. Simple, easy. And that might feel pretty self-explanatory, but I think it's important to share because all too often I see people misstepping on this, right? I see people making this mistake because so often when it comes to resolutions, we see people relying on willpower alone. And this is why the first week or two, they have all the willpower and, excitement keeping them going. And then we see these goals kind of implode a little bit. Not ideal. And so this happens so often. I'm sure maybe some of you might resonate with this a little bit. Willpower alone is not the best way to go about goal setting. And this is why things start to peter out. And while willpower is great, unless you have superstar Olympic gymnast training willpower, which few of us do, right? Even they have coaches. Unless you have super extreme willpower, it doesn't necessarily help for lasting change because we need to have some sort of external accountabilities put into place, right? So that's why when I often have clients who work with me say stuff like, oh my gosh, I've thought about this for so long, but I haven't actually done anything about it before. This is why. Because they either didn't necessarily know the steps or the process, and so they needed some new structure in place, or they needed accountability, right? And so with that in mind, I really want to encourage you to remember that tip for this year as you're thinking about setting out goals and setting out structures to support those goals. If I want a different result, do a different action, right? So that is my tip for you this week, to think about that, to think about whatever your goal is, and then ask yourself if you're doing something different in order to create an environment to make that ideal situation actually happen. Or if you're relying on just willpower. All right. So I want you to ask yourself this, get honest with the answer. And if it is the latter, if you are really focusing on willpower and not necessarily putting the systems in place, then I want you to think about how you can put some accountabilities there, whether it is joining some sort of group or chatting with friends and creating some sort of challenge to hold each other accountable, working with a coach, whatever it might be for you. I want you to think about what structures you have that are supporting you. So start there. And of course, as with every year, I am here to help those of you who are looking to build a more fulfilling career in 2021. So there are a lot of ways in which we can work together and support those goals. But if you're curious about what that might look like for you, definitely shoot me a direct message and just give me a little bit of info on where you're at in your career, and we can hop on a call and go from there, okay? So that is my tip for you this week, friends. If you are looking for a different result in 2021, make sure you're truly doing different actions and having the right structure set up in place to support those things, okay? So we can go from there, get going on those goals. And in the meantime, happy working. Whoop!